The story kicks off with Ian, our beat-up hero, standing on the edge of a cliff, feeling sorry for himself. He's tired of being a loser and figures jumping off is the only way to end the misery. As he plummets, Ian wonders if his life ever mattered. Spoiler, he doesn't think so. He's done nothing but fail, and now he's about to go out like he lived like trash. Earlier, things weren't much better. Ian's team was fighting a giant rat monster. The warrior, Zoid, was holding his own, but got cranky waiting for Jeline, the mage, to finish her spell. Finally, she fried the beast with a fireball, and Zoid immediately called for the trash picker, aka Ian. Ian tried to remind them his name isn't Trash Picker, but his clumsy entrance didn't help his case. He tripped, earning another round of insults. Jeline chimed in, calling him low common garbage, because in this world, jobs are ranked and Ian's is rock bottom. People get jobs from the goddess of light at birth and skills from the goddess of darkness through training. Fancy jobs like military strategists are rare tier. Fighters like Zoid and Jeline are high common. And then there's Ian, stuck in the low common category with peasants and appraisers, basically society's doormats. Ian's parents died young, leaving him no trade to inherit. He tried adventuring, hoping for fame and fortune, but instead, he got Zoid and Jeline. Using his appraisal skill, Ian found the rat was worthless, an F-rank rarity with D-rank parts. When he struggled to yank out the parts, Zoid refused to help, sneering, "That's your job, trash picker." The insults didn't stop. Zoid threw a rock at Ian for daring to look annoyed, and Jeline reminded him to be grateful they let him tag along. Ian apologized, bit his tongue, and got back to digging through the rat carcass. It was gross, humiliating work, but it was his only way to survive. Things got worse when they stumbled upon a dead hellhound. Zoid, ecstatic, ordered Ian to start appraising. Ian hesitated. The map said only one hellhound should be here. Zoid didn't care and told him to get to work. Ian obeyed because he couldn't afford to lose the job, even if it meant risking his life. Then came the twist. More hellhounds appeared. Ian warned the group, but Zoid came up with a nasty plan. He told Jeline to paralyze Ian so they could use him as bait. Jeline hesitated but eventually zapped Ian, apologizing as she and Zoid ran for their lives. Ian, stuck and defenseless, watched in horror as the hellhounds closed in. Luckily, pain snapped Ian out of paralysis just in time. He tossed his bag of apples to distract the beasts and bolted. But his escape route was blocked. His teammates had sealed the exit. Forced down a side path, Ian ended up at a dead-end cliff. Behind him, the hellhounds snarled. Ahead, only the abyss. With nowhere left to run, Ian laughed at the absurdity of it all. He thought about his life, how everyone treated him like trash, and how he let them. Maybe it wasn't just the world's fault. Maybe he was to blame for not standing up for himself. Too bad this epiphany came at the worst possible time. With no options left, Ian took a deep breath, cracked a grim smile, and jumped, muttering, "Well, if they thought I was trash, at least I'm taking myself out." Moments after Ian's dramatic cliff dive, he wakes up in a bizarre new place, looking like he's just come out of a spa day completely healed. Before he can figure out what's going on, a mysterious woman appears and gives him a gentle kiss on the forehead, snapping him awake. Stunned, Ian realizes he's somehow alive, and his injuries are completely gone. Nearby, he spots a massive, awe-inspiring tree surrounded by towering walls of water. Being the curious and low-key nosy guy he is, Ian uses his appraisal skill on a droplet falling from the tree. The result? A jaw-dropping revelation. It's a droplet from the world tree. Yep, the mythical, thought-to-be-extinct tree responsible for the magic everyone breathes like air. Legend said the world tree withered away ages ago, leaving scholars scratching their heads about how mana still exists. Turns out, they weren't looking deep enough because who checks dungeons for world-altering flora? Ian realizes the tree saved his life and awkwardly thanks it, though he hears a voice nearby and decides it's best to ignore it. He's surprised there aren't any monsters around, but knows he's far from safe. With no food, no allies, and no clue how to escape, Ian thanks the tree one last time and ventures into the unknown. As he leaves, the mysterious woman watches him, clearly concerned for our underdog. Ian trudges on, wondering if he's about to meet something worse than those hellhounds. His brush with death has sparked a change in him. He vows never to limit himself again. Armed with nothing but a rock and his newfound determination, Ian presses forward, relieved by the eerie lack of monsters until disaster strikes. Out of nowhere, something slices off his ear. Panicked and in pain, Ian tries to retrieve it, only to lose a few fingers to the invisible menace. Using his appraisal skill, he discovers his attacker is an S-rank gremlin. Translation: he's toast. The gremlin ruthlessly cuts into him, and Ian quickly learns that knowing your enemy's rank doesn't make you strong enough to beat it. Just as the gremlin is about to finish him off, it suddenly freezes, trembling in fear. Enter the S-rank Death Bear, a terrifying beast that wastes no time shredding Ian's face and crushing him like a soda can. As Ian prepares to meet his maker again, a mysterious boy shows up, grumbling about being forced to save him by some girl. The kid effortlessly takes out the bear, casually tells Ian not to get the wrong idea, and leaves him unconscious. Ian wakes up back at the World Tree, all patched up again. This time, he meets the mysterious girl, who's even more stunning than he imagined, like an elf straight out of a fairy tale. Before Ian can wrap his head around her beauty, an older woman scolds him for ignoring the tea her daughter made. She practically forces the tea down his throat, and Ian, trying to keep the peace, compliments the brew while noticing how cute the girl's ears wiggle when she's happy. The older woman introduces herself as Ursula, the guardian of the World Tree, and promptly threatens Ian with extinction if he dares have impure thoughts about her daughter, Yuri. Turns out, Yuri is more than just a sweet girl, she's actually the will of the World Tree, basically its spirit. Ursula reveals they saved Ian not out of kindness, but because Yuri begged her to. Oh, and that fancy new eye of his. It's a gift, crafted from the World Tree itself, since regular droplets couldn't restore his shattered one. Ian, completely floored, thanks Yuri profusely, which makes her giddy with joy. Ursula, on the other hand, is livid at Ian's casual tone and warns him to keep his dirty hands and compliments to himself. Ian learns that most people who end up in this abyss never show gratitude to Yuri. Instead, they try to loot the tree for parts. His simple thank you meant the world to her, earning him their help. Despite Ursula's impatience, Yuri worries about Ian's safety. The abyss is crawling with deadly monsters, and teleportation magic doesn't work here. Ursula, being a tough-as-nails guardian, refuses to babysit Ian. But when Yuri starts crying over the thought of Ian dying, Ursula caves. She decides to do the unthinkable, train Ian herself. With a dramatic point of her finger, she declares, "You're going to survive this abyss, but only because I'll whip you into shape." Ian, now with a prosthetic spirit eye and an angry old tree guardian as his trainer, braces himself for what's to come. Ian couldn't believe his ears, he was actually getting out of this place alive. He thanked the ladies profusely, but Ursula, unimpressed, cut him off. She announced he'd be trained personally by the most powerful mage alive, and failure wasn't an option. Fired up, Ian swore to give it his all. As they left, Ian nervously wondered if Ursula was going to toss him straight into a battlefield. She didn't exactly ease his fears, snapping that book learning was for people with time to waste time Ian didn't have unless he wanted to grow old and gray before he gained any strength. Stopping abruptly, Ursula pointed out something ahead. Ian squinted but saw only darkness. Ursula rolled her eyes and reminded him that his left eye had been replaced with a piece of the World Tree, courtesy of Yuri. Ian admitted his vision hadn't changed, but Ursula said that was because he lacked awareness. The mention of Yuri sparked a memory. Ian thought about how he'd lost his eye and how Yuri's gift brought light back into his world. The warmth of gratitude filled him, and suddenly, his eye heated up. When he opened it, the world around him transformed, and Ursula, for once, looked pleased. "Time to train," she declared. With a flick of her wrist, she summoned a monster one just like the one that nearly killed him before. It lunged at Ian, and Ursula barked his first lesson: dodge. Ian balked. "How?" "You have appraisal powers, don't you?" she snapped. Ian grumbled that appraisal was only good for gathering information. Ursula smirked. "Not with that spirit eye of yours." He gave it a shot, and, to his shock, saw the monster's next move spelled out an attack aiming for his right ear. Awestruck, Ian froze, and the monster lopped his ear clean off. As he howled in pain, Ursula healed him using droplets from Yuri. With a grin, she assured him that no matter how sliced up he got, she'd patch him right back. They kept at it, and Ian began to understand. Appraisal didn't just show moves, it showed timing, too. He finally dodged an attack, but his celebration was short-lived. His distraction earned him another nasty slash. He learned quickly: stay focused, stay sharp, and treat appraisal like breathing. 1 week later, Ian's reflexes had sharpened dramatically. But Ursula wasn't done. For the next phase, she handed him a wooden sword crafted from the world tree, another gift from Yuri. "Don't break it," Ursula warned. "Or else." Ian vowed to honor Yuri's sacrifice. Facing the monster again, Ian realized simply swinging at it wouldn't work. It dodged instinctively. Frustrated, he remembered Ursula's hint. Appraising the monster's trajectory, not just its moves, allowed him to see its attacks in slow motion. Time seemed to crawl for the monster while Ian moved at normal speed, landing a devastating blow that defeated it in one swing. His joy was short-lived. Ursula dismissed his victory, saying he'd barely scratched the surface. For his next task, Ian had to appraise and steal a gremlin's ability. Hesitant, Ian tried, only to feel a searing pain as the knowledge of the skill embedded itself into his mind. Testing it, Ian discovered incredible speed, but his body couldn't keep up. His muscles tore apart with every step, leaving him in agony. Ursula just laughed, healing him repeatedly and telling him to keep running until his body adapted. After days of relentless effort, Ian's muscles stopped tearing, and he emerged stronger, faster, and ready for whatever madness Ursula planned next. Ian's voice has taken on a deeper tone, his newfound confidence showing as he believes he's ready to take on a death bear. Ursula warns him not to get too cocky, reminding him that there's still a long way to go. Ian becomes discouraged, but Ursula decides to help him further. Reluctantly, she agrees to let Ian appraise her abilities, curious to see if he'll figure it out in time. Without a warning, she demonstrates one of her skills, the discard incantation. This magic allows her to cast spells without the need for an incantation, which is a rare and impressive ability. Ursula urges Ian to appraise it along with her fireball spell. Ian tries, but the pain is overwhelming as his body bursts into flames. After a quick healing, he tries again, managing to grasp the discard incantation after 5 days of training. Ian struggles with the challenge, as his low magical capacity and lack of a magic-focused job make progress slow. His body collapses whenever he runs out of magic, but Yuri helps by using a droplet from the world tree. These droplets not only replenish magical power, but also increase overall magic capacity provided they are consumed when the person has completely depleted their magic. With this method, Ian trains tirelessly, slowly but surely increasing his magical abilities. After a month, he can shoot 1,000 fireballs at once, cast mid-level magic, and access abilities from the Gremlin and Ursula. His improved physique and enhanced magic capacity, along with his spirit eyes and super appraise, give him the confidence he needs to face the next challenge. Ursula agrees that Ian is ready and sets up a revenge match against the Death Bear. As they approach, Ian grows nervous, but Ursula reassures him, noting that he's much stronger than before. She's actually a bit frustrated by how quickly he's improved. Confident in his abilities, Ian prepares for battle, realizing he's not the same person he once was. He challenges the Death Bear head-on, starting with a barrage of fireballs. Ursula mocks his aim, but at least he manages to create a smoke screen. Using his incredible speed, Ian positions himself and activates Super Appraise to slow everything down. He follows with a windstorm attack, dealing significant damage to the bear. Realizing that his spells alone aren't enough due to his lack of natural magical ability, Ian decides to focus on precision. One hit won't suffice, so he keeps hammering the beast with his attacks. Finally, he unleashes a 100-round fireball that sends the death bear crashing to the ground. Ian is surprised at how weak the creature seems, but he quickly realizes that it's not the bear that's weak, he's just gotten much stronger. As pain rippled through him, signaling his absorption of the bear's abilities, Ursula smirked, declaring him ready for the final stretch, fighting through the dungeon's remaining monsters to the surface. The realization hit Ian he'd survived her brutal training. Before parting, Ian bid farewell to Yuri, though Ursula hesitated to hand over her daughter's gift, the last shard of the World Tree's spirit core, explaining it could enhance Ian's magic eye or create a new artificial one. Ursula dismissed his concerns about using Yuri's power, assuring him it would return to her if he fell. Without waiting, she implanted the core into Ian's eye. The immediate change was subtle until Yuri revealed the twist. She was now living inside his eye, the spirit core fully fusing her essence with him as the embodiment of the World Tree. With Yuri now traveling with him, endlessly healing his injuries, Ian awkwardly adjusted to the arrangement. Ursula, reluctant but resigned, admitted she trusted Ian to protect her daughter, gifting him an infinite storage spell and a spirit sword forged from Yuri's essence. Her bonus gift, however, came in the form of stabbing Ian's good eye and implanting the Philosopher's Stone, linking it to her consciousness so she could nag him in real time. As Ian left, Yuri shared her dream, to reunite the fragments of the World Tree. He vowed to help, guided by Ursula's appraisal skills. Facing his first major challenge, a deadly viper, Ian's upgraded spirit god eye and Yuri's healing magic made quick work of the beast. With new abilities and no more pain from absorbing skills, Ian pressed on, eventually reaching the dungeon's heart. The boss guarding the labyrinth core was colossal, its sheer power forcing Ian to rely on everything Ursula had taught him. After enduring a devastating meteor-like attack, Ian unleashed Nova Strike, a fiery spell that obliterated the beast in one explosive blow. Victorious, he appraised the boss, absorbing its abilities, and allowed Ursula to enhance his spirit god eye with the labyrinth core, unlocking even greater potential. As Ian and Yuri emerged from the dungeon, its entrance sealed behind them, ensuring Yuri's safety. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Zoid spun a dramatic tale of Ian's supposed heroic sacrifice to save their party. When Ian suddenly appeared alive and well, Zoid's facade crumbled as Ian exposed the truth. Zoid had left him as bait. The other adventurers turned on Zoid, but Ian forgave him, crediting the betrayal for leading him to Yuri and Ursula, who had changed his life. His grace left everyone speechless. Continuing their journey, Ian defeated another dungeon boss, gaining the ability to read any language through his evolving spirit god eye. Despite their progress, the World Tree fragments remained elusive, but Yuri assured Ian she was in no rush. Along the way, Ian saved a royal princess, Claudia, from an ambush, earning her gratitude and affection. When she boldly declared Ian her hero and suggested becoming his second wife, Yuri's flustered protests sparked a lively rivalry. Ursula, amused, saw it as a sign Yuri was finally forming bonds beyond her. With his growing power, Ian pressed forward, determined to fulfill his promise to Yuri while navigating the chaos that seemed to follow him everywhere. Things take a turn for the bizarre when Jasper suddenly announces his intentions. He wants to marry Ian too. Jasper, an eccentric collector obsessed with precious gems, reveals he's been hunting for a spirit core his entire life, and he's just realized Ian's left eye contains one. Jasper shares the legend of the World Tree, explaining how it once stood tall above the earth but sacrificed its power to seal away the demon lord of calamity, Mikarin. The tree withered, leaving behind scattered spirit cores. Jasper, who's dedicated his life to finding them, offers marriage in exchange for Ian's eye. Naturally, Ian shoots him down immediately. But Ursula, ever the opportunist, sees a golden opportunity. Jasper clearly has valuable intel on spirit cores, and she urges Ian to milk the man for all he's worth. Ian agrees to befriend Jasper, but firmly declines the marriage proposal, much to the collector's delight. Jasper warns that spirit cores are located in some of the most dangerous places imaginable, but Ian, undeterred, is ready for the challenge. As Jasper begins his preparations, Ian and the girls gear up for the next phase of their journey, with new allies, new goals, and no shortage of chaos ahead.